Welcome back to Can't Fake Real. Let's do a little energy check-in here. So we are on the full moon. Part of the things I'd like to do is to tune into either the full moon or the new moon energies, as I do believe the moon affects so much of our bodies and our emotions. So with being midway through the year, and this is a full moon in Capricorn, we're checking in, right? Here we are 6 months in, almost 7 now, I guess. And I have some incense going here, so it's the smoke you guys see. So what have we done? Where are we at? I'm a Capricorn, so the energy feels extra potent to me just because of having those traits, those characteristics. And so Capricorns are known, we're an earth sign, the sign is the sea goat. So we like to climb, and then we have a tail to dive, right? Kind of complex creatures, mythical creatures, obviously. And the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer. So that's why we're in Cancer season, if you guys didn't know that. So whatever season you're in, the full moon is going to be the direct opposite of that. So Cancer, is the opposite of Capricorn. And Cancer is very watery. It's the mother. It is the moon, actually. It's our emotions, it's our subconscious. They're all about home and family, and just think of any Cancers in your life, right? They're just so loving, right? And they're the crabs. They do have their hard shells at times, and they also, that's a turtle, never mind. I was like, they carry their home with them wherever they go. They don't live in their shell, but the aspects, Cancers can have those aspects. So we have Capricorn, Cancer dynamics. Cancer is the daddy, Capricorn is the daddy. So you got the mommy energy and you got the daddy energy. So right now, the word that came to me a lot, especially yesterday, is alignment. Alignment. So I was driving, and as I was picturing what alignment is, I was leaving an energy client session, and how much more her words, her actions, her energy felt in alignment. And that, again, I'll remind you, is the purpose of, to me, any personal development work, but when we're talking about energy work, is to be able to come and reset and relax and rest, so that whatever's going on inside can realign. And so alignment, to me, I think of a car. I thought of like a golfer, like lining your shot up to be in alignment with your goal, the hole in one. Alignment, for aim. And so to be in alignment also, I think, is to be in integrity, is to be living in your truth. I'm going to start shuffling the cards while I'm talking, so this doesn't end up being 5 hours. I'm using the Alchemy Deck. This is one of my favorite decks here by Kim Kranz. And it's just about alchemy. What's alchemy? It's transformation. It's transition. It's taking lead and turning into gold, right? It's taking what's going on in our lives and seeing the deeper lesson, and transforming it. So again, we're not looping. That's what the last video I talked about, like the emotional looping and staying in those lower frequencies. There's so many ways. Shot all the way over there. Vinegar. So vinegar, is acidic. It's also a cleanser. I was cooking eggs, and somebody was like, did you put vinegar in there? And I was like, what? And I guess it helps them not stick. I didn't know that. But let's see why vinegar is coming up. So vinegar, and that's the Latin word for it, which I won't try to butcher. The keywords are acidity, distillation, memory. The tongue knows vinegar. Even the suggestion of receiving a few drops into the mouth reminds us of vinegar's sour, lip puckering qualities. In alchemy, vinegar serves as the active agent of distillation, fermentation, and preservation. It is incredibly useful when applied in the right amounts with intention. This said, it can be easily overused, overwhelming in the situation at hand. When the vinegar card is present in a reading, it indicates a sour note permeates the laboratory. It is likely something from the past is showing up in the present and demanding our attention. It is vinegar's nature to take over, to overwhelm. Be cautious with this material. A little goes a long way. As they say, it is productive to look at your past, but not to stare. Such is the complex energy of vinegar. So, and it says to ponder the wisdom of the tongue, which again, I just take that going back to the wisdom of the body and knowing where are the sour places in our lives? Where are we downing this vinegar, this acidity to comply? And where are we knowing that acid, like they said, is necessary to ferment, to distill, to purify, like it's a cleaner. People use it as a cleaner, right? So I would apply that to your life right now. And how is that alchemizing within you? The bottom of the deck here, we have blood. And there's a dark spot there. Beautiful rose. That's the Latin word for it. So what is blood? Blood, blood, blood. I feel like later in here. Bear with me. Roman numerals. I did go to Catholic school, but doesn't I remember. Okay, so blood. The pulse, physicality, again, the body. Have no fear of the blood card. It indicates a remembrance of the vital mammalian nature of our existence. Drop by drop, this sacred elixir reminds us that we are alive, not merely thinking beings, but being beings. When blood is in the prima materia in the laboratory, the alchemist uses the physical body as the starting point, building a relationship to the container that houses the spirit. Through the limbs, the organs, the cells, we witness the miracle of life, one heartbeat at a time. Eventually, the alchemist naturally partakes in practices that support and nourish blood's life-giving nature. We learn to honor and protect it. In alchemy, red is the color of vitality and radiance. With this card, you've dropped into the vital realm. Sing the body's praises. So the pondering is ponder the presence of the pulse. Feeling into both these. These are both, I think they're called material cards. There's different categories in this deck. Sorry. There's the cosmic forces, the colors, the seasons, the materials, the 22 mysteries, and 8 operations. So this is one of the material cards for alchemy, blood and vinegar. I just heard sweet and sour. And again, finding that alignment. What has gone off and what needs to go to let in new life, to rejuvenate the body, to listen to the body, to be like, this is pumping so, I don't know, the gallons of blood in the heart. And part of the reason I love doing somatic work and tuning into the body is how miraculous it really is. Let's see if I can take a inner child. So this is the inner child tarot, but it's fairy tale. Sorry, it's really dark where I'm filming, so I have a ring light. Let's see if we can get an archetype card to tie these two together, and if I can feel anything into the messages coming in this full moon. Take them or leave them if they resonate. These cards are really big, so they're hard to just pop out, so I may just break the deck in half. 2 of Swords. It's 2 kids kind of playing, and they're dueling. There's the sun behind them. I just heard like the yin and yang for some reason. 2 of Swords is often in the tarot. How are we blocking ourselves? How are we blinding ourselves? How are we staying naive? And so with this Capricorn energy, again, it is like the daddy of the zodiac. It's rearranging things. It's restructuring things. It's not letting you hide behind programs, jobs, relationships that aren't working or that need restructuring, I guess is the word. Let's see what the 2 of Swords has to say in here. Okay, 2 of Swords is fencing and dueling are popular sports and art forms that require skill, balance, and grace. They involve lucid and quick movements coupled with the insight and awareness it takes to yield and surrender to one's opponent. Potentially our mind can function in this fashion. However, our stressful culture where dualistic thinking reigns, we inevitably get entangled in indecision and self-doubt. Resolving one's life's conflicts can become agonizing feats of battle. Resolving life's conflicts can become agonizing feats of battle. We often remain unyielding or unable to surrender to a difficult situation put before us. This card, the perspective that our mental conflicts can be experienced as a sport in which we balance and wholeness are a priority. All of life is divided into opposites. Yin and yang, male, female, light, dark, joy, sorrow. We must know one side in order to know the other and its complement. The crossed swords represent mental conflict. The radiant sun behind the sword, reminder of the wholeness that overlights any form of dualism. It may be time in your life when you are making new decisions or searching for answers to old problems. Move towards your light and wisdom and let the answers emerge like a great sunrise. The old worries to sink into the past. Allow worries to sink into the past like poignant sunset. Clarity will come as you gently yield to this moment. Sorry that was difficult to get out, but the energy is there of duality, balance, yin yang, mom, dad, Capricorn, Cancer, alignment. They all both get to be here, the sweet and the sour, life and death. And this full moon is calling you to sit with those themes, to sit with where you are dueling with yourself. That's all we're doing here. Everything outside of you is a mirror. It's you, and your thoughts are what's creating a lot of it. So going inside to the internal conflict, where are you conflicted? Where are you letting things ferment too long? Where do you need to take action? Capricorn is also about action and structure. And they go together. Like, we want the watery Cancer, we want the emotions, we want the flow, we want the yin of like, this feels so nice, I'm creating, very feminine. And then we want the yang, which is again the Capricorn, like, but this is the container and this is how we're doing it, and this is the structure to it, and this is the order and the timing. Also, you know, Saturn is about time. So divine timing, trusting, not keeping blocked. Like the swords are, in the traditional, it's like this, blocking the person's eyes if you look at the traditional deck. And we can't keep staying blind. We can't keep like, there I think is a quote that says you cannot wake a man that's pretending to be sleeping, right? And so here comes my dog about to knock at the door, probably telling me to wrap this up. Yeah, you're not blind. You know what you want. You know who you are. You get to have it all. The sweet, the sour, the joy, the sorrow. Not get to, you need to, right? Like it said, it informs one or the other. This is a book I picked up at the library recently. Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And lately I felt very much that our lives are art. Whether you are a mother or, you know, a pilot, or I don't know, a tarot reader, like you get to be whatever you want in this life and you get to create it. And so I kind of used books like this, just popped off the bookshelf. I didn't have a cover or anything. I just grabbed it off the bookshelf, and I usually like to flip books open to see messages come out. So let's see what message Rick Rubin has for us on how to make our life a work of art, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, connected detachment is what I just opened to, and these are like 1 or 2 pages, but it's basically, it says, consider detaching from the story of your life as it's happening. The manuscript of the novel you've worked on for years is lost in the fire. Your romantic relationship breaks up when you thought it was going well. You lose a job you care about. As hard as it may seem to seek experiences like these as you're watching a movie, sorry, as hard as it is, experience events, you need to be pretending you're watching a movie. You're observing a dramatic scene where the protagonist faces seemingly insurmountable challenges. It's you, but it's not you. Instead of sinking into the pain of heartbreak or the stress of being laid off or the grief of loss, if practicing detachment response might be, I wasn't expecting that plot twist. I wonder what's going to happen to our hero next. There's more to go to this, but essentially it's how to zoom in and zoom out, right? And our life is hopefully years and years and years and decades and decades and decades. And right now is one season of that. And yet that's the only real thing right now, right? Because we can't go to the past, like they said, we can't go to the future. And if we get stuck in those things, we're missing the present. And so to have connected detachment is beautiful. To me, it's like, I have so much joy. I have so many goals and things. And yet I'm detaching it from gripping to them and looking in this season now that I want something so bad that is coming in the next season. And so then I ruin and sour the whole season I'm in because I'm not trusting that what my heart and what I truly want wouldn't come to me if it wasn't possible, if it wasn't in my field. This is on the bottom of the deck just looking at me, but to me it is like a yin yang in a way, and it's conjunction. I believe it's something about coming together. The infinity sign is up there. Everything is going to come together. Everything is actually happening, already happening. We might be this side right now, and then we'll go back and forth forever. And again, in that video, in my first, it's different to do video instead of just talking. I will admit that. For 15, 16 minutes at a time with no cutting, no editing, and hoping that this resonates or lands, and just playing. Like, this is my art. This is my way of doing church. Not that this is God to me, but it is a way to tune into my divinity, to my internal world, to listen to my intuition through the cards. And again, if they don't resonate, they don't resonate. I may not even post this and do another poll. This may have just been my first practice one, but you don't have to be perfect to show up. Your message doesn't have to be tailored and completely written by ChatGPT and all. Like, there needs to be more people that are just going to show up and talk and shoot the shit and say how they feel and not know how they feel, and being okay with that. That's all welcome here. And I'm glad you tuned in for the full moon tonight. It's about releasing. It's about sitting again with where we're at halfway through the year and where we want to go, and also just being fully present, like, you know, fully present in the dueling, the unfolding, the dualistic nature of life, and knowing what goes up must come down. It will come down. And if you're down, don't worry, you're on your way back up already. So thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Happy full moon in Capricorn, and we'll see you on the next one.